Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. Today is Tuesday, November 17th. I am Joe Sarvati, affectionately known as Coach, and I am joined by the one and only Mr. Andrew Hansen. How are you today, Mr. Hansen?
I'm doing well. I'm excited here, back in the groove for golf. Unfortunately, we don't have another green jacket at stake, so it's going to be a bit of a letdown there. But there are some exciting names in this field, and so we're gonna battle here and see if we can make it a profitable week.
Absolutely. And I'll tell you, it's not a throwaway week at all. I mean, like you said, there's a good 10, 15 very, very quality golfers in here. And, I noticed, just looking back at our history, because the Masters could have definitely gone a little bit better for us, but it seems as though these tournaments, not the really bad ones, these that are like in the middle of the road where there's some good guys and some average guys, seems to be where we get our biggest edge and our value guys popping for us. So, for whatever reason, it seems like this type of tournament is right in our power zone, if you will. So I think we can come up with some really good things that are going to get us some wins. So, all right, I'll let you explain too this RSM Classic. It's odd the courses they're playing on and how that breaks up. Why don't you let everybody know how that's going to fly this weekend?
Yeah, it is unique. There are two courses here that will be played, but not in an even fashion. It's going to be 3 and 1. So you look at the Seaside course and the Plantation course. First two rounds, they're going to play each of those once. And then if you make the cut, you play the Seaside course both times on the weekend. So you end up playing the Seaside course 3 times, the Plantation course once. So if you look at the breakdown of the holes, I focused more on the Seaside breakdown because you get to play that 3 times. And one of the defining factors of that course is you have 8 par 4s between 400 and 450 yards. So I looked at that stat. And then in general, both these courses are short. They're under 7,100 yards. The Seaside is par 70, Plantation par 72. So you don't need to be a big hitter to compete this week. So that's sort of like the big overview is three times versus once, shorter courses. And then also, I should add, not much in terms of rough. We're talking about like 1.5 inch rough. So, driving accuracy isn't the most important thing. And the stats on this course historically has been that it's easier to hit the green than in other PGA tournaments. So that's why we also looked at proximity to the hole, because more guys are going to be getting on the greens in regulation at a high clip. So let's look at guys who are going to actually hit it close and make that birdie putt that much easier.
Outstanding. And we also, I know you put a little list together of sort of who's coming off the Masters with a little momentum and a little confidence. I think this course is going to look like a putt course compared to
exactly.
how the Masters was playing some of that time. Yeah. But no, it's great. And I think, it is a little quirky with the 3 and 1. That doesn't happen very often in the PGA. But, as you said, it's not like one course is, 3 shots easier than the other course, or, one's way longer than the other. They sort of play into each other's sweet spot. So I think, the way we broke this down and looked at it is going to give us the right edge going in. So should be a fun one for sure. And like I said, the field is pretty good. So if you're joining us right now and watching us on YouTube, let me ask real quickly on the front way in, the front door here, that you just give us a quick thumbs up, hit that little alarm button so you get an alert whenever our podcasts come on. And then, definitely subscribe to us. We have a drawing once a month for a free 1-month membership to Coach Talk. We're only halfway through the month, and it's a great prize. All you have to do is subscribe to us on YouTube to qualify, and then we have a randomizer that picks someone right out of that bucket of people that subscribe that month. So take a shot, follow us. We'd love to have you, comment, join in, listen in. And certainly, shoot us some messages here on YouTube or on Twitter. You can follow all of us at DFS Coach Talk. I'm at Joe Sarvati, V. Andrew is. Shane is at Sugar, or I'm sorry, I did it again. DET Sports Shane. We need him to get a new one called Sugar Shane, I think is what would be better for me. Anyway, that's where we go there. And I'd like to thank our presenting sponsor. That is betus.com.pa. And speaking of that, I'm going to pull up that list right now because I think a lot of people probably think, okay, Masters was last week. Everybody's going to take the week off. And that is not the case. So I'm going to give you your little quiz, but I'm going to give the top 10 favorites to win this event. And we do have a monster chalk here, plus 850, which is pretty darn low. And that is Webb Simpson. Then we've got a group here. I'll give you the next 9. Tyrrell Hatton, Sunjae M, Tommy Fleetwood, Russell Henley, Jason Day, Matthew Fitzpatrick, Louis Oosthuizen, and Harris English. So, well, that's 9. Sebastian Munoz. So look at that. Those are guys that can play. And, definitely some guys that can play. So I've got the next 10. So you got a million choices here. And I need you to get 3 of them before you miss 3.
Okay. I'm confident here. How about Shane Lowry off his top 25 finish at the Masters?
He's the 13th favorite at 30-1.
Okay. How about the man coming back from COVID-19, Joaquin Niemann?
He is 11th. He's pushing Sebastian Munoz for that 10th spot. So he's getting a lot of play.
All right. And then how about a guy who probably shot up the odds board here, again, because of his finish at the Masters, Dylan Fratelli?
Dylan Fratelli. He didn't make it.
He didn't make the top 20?
No, he's 25th at 60-1.
That's insane.
So strike one.
Strike one.
They would say on Family Feud there.
How about the big hitter, Jason Kokrak?
Jason Kokrak is disappointing to me because I had him and he didn't play well in the 4th round, but he is in that top 20, so very good. And so you're another winner. You're on your streak again. The other guys are Corey Connors, Justin Rose, Kevin Kisner, Brian Harmon, Zach Johnson, surprisingly. Must have good history there. We'll talk about that. Ian Poulter, Doc Redman, and Mackenzie Hughes. So, again, it starts getting a little thin after that, like I said, like that top 15. But, from Simpson down to Justin Rose, any of those guys could easily walk up and win this tournament. So I think that will be fun. So we want to thank our friends at betus.com.pa for those odds. Certainly jump on there and you can play matchups or you can grab somebody here at some good odds and get a nice rush on Sunday. All right, let's jump into your breakout here of some of those categories because I know that's going to be super important as we start to build a lineup.
Yeah, so before we get into the stats, let's talk a little bit about the Masters week here and how it might transition. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't what we wanted. And my winners, the problem with my lineups is I had a lot of good ones, but I had too much Bubba Watson and Jason Day. And I thought they were good prices there in that mid tier. So I had a lot of lineups with DJ, Koepka, and even Cameron Smith that cashed, even with 1 or 2 guys who didn't make the cut. So it's just frustrating that we couldn't quite put it all together for the core lineups. But anyway, with the winnings that we did have, we're going to invest that here. And, I think it is important to look at that week and how it affects this week. And especially, I think, for the category of guys who played really well at the Masters, who aren't, top 5 players in the world, who are going to take just an enormous amount of confidence from that into this week. And I think they're going to stay in that groove and ride that high and play well here. So the guys I looked at, sort of across the pricing here, I want to hit on 5 or 6 of them. Top of the list got to be Sungjae Im. I mean, with that tie for second finish his best finish in a major. And of course, they said during the broadcast that he finally decided to set up residence in Georgia, in Atlanta. So now, here he is. He got his top 5 finish at the Masters, and now he's playing at Sea Isle, Georgia. So Sungjae Im, I think, is attractive. The problem he's very expensive. So
yeah,
that's the downer with him. Next is a guy who you mentioned is in the top 10 odds to win this, Sebastian Munoz, who's only 9,000 on DraftKings, so he's a really good price. Yeah. And listen to what he's done here at this course, at this event. Missed cut. Last year he was in 3rd place. So he found his comfort zone, and he's got a nice comfort zone after that week at the Masters. So I like Munoz
all week at the Masters too. I mean, he was right in the thick of it. And just one real quick thing, not to break up your thought here because I want to hear it, but for our listeners that listened to our picks last week, if you remember, the reason I was so disappointed with the finish is that first day I thought, oh my God, I may win the million. I mean, I had 5 guys of my 6 were in the top 11. Now, when does that?
Oosthuizen. Yeah, guys like Oosthuizen who started so well and kind of faded. Yeah.
Yeah, and then all those guys just dwindled out of it in the weekend. So that's why
Xander went downhill.
But this is the point I bring that up for, and why I interrupted, because when you're thinking about this stuff, remember this: when you're with us, at Coach Talk, we're going to give bonus lineups of certain rounds. People like to play sometimes just the weekend when they can watch, etc. And what saved me was the opposite of usual. I absolutely murdered that first day. I mean, I took stuff down. I thought, oh my gosh, this is it. But that was it then. Then it started sliding. But the point is, you can play round by round. It's offered always on DraftKings, and you can play the weekend on FanDuel, even on the tournaments that aren't that as big as like the Masters. So anyway, you can attack it from different angles, and the picks we give you here are always for the whole tournament, but that doesn't mean that a group of them can't just murder one of the days as well. So just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun going round by round in the Masters, and that's one of the ways we get our edge, because we watch the golfers, and you can learn a lot from watching a guy play
body language.
All that stuff and form. So continuing with the list of good Masters success here, Corey Connors tied for 10th. He's made the cut here twice. Dylan Fratelli, who I'm surprised is 25th in the odds to win it. That just doesn't make sense. He tied for 5th at the Masters. He was 35th here in his most recent performance.
I thought he played well. I watched him quite a bit this week. He's got a nice game. I didn't realize he was quite that good.
They talked a lot about how he's added length here recently. And I wasn't on him this week at the Masters. And so it was frustrating because he just wouldn't go away. I was just waiting for him to, make some mistakes, and he was just so solid, and hung around the whole week, sort of like Munoz.
Yep.
Next on this list, CT Pan. I mean, there's another guy who just so solid all week there, finishing tied for 7th. I didn't
see that coming. Yeah.
No. He's only 7,900 on DraftKings, and how about this? He has a tied for 6th and a tied for 13th in this tournament. So.
Oh no. Yeah, well, that's a guy that you got to circle for sure.
Yeah.
He's circled. Those finishes here. That's wild. And it's not like the guy has been playing terrible golf. Like this was just a complete fluke. He hasn't missed a cut since the PGA. And he's made all these cuts. Including a 12th at the Sanderson. And then 2 solid tournaments at the Shriners and the Houston Open. And then, of course, this tied for 7th at the Masters, where he shot 68 on Sunday. I mean, that's some golf, man. I think he might be. Should we make an early secret squirrel call here on CT Pan?
We could. I guess it might not be as much of a secret, but we can do that.
Yeah. It's half a secret squirrel.
Okay, that's where we're leaning. All right.
Okay.
One more, last guy on this list, Sung Kang, who finished tied for 29th at the Masters. The reason I mention him is because he's a value play. He's only 6,700 on DraftKings, and he's had a tie for 33rd and a tie for 29th at this course. So not one of those guys that you're looking at as, okay, I really think there's a good shot he's going to get to top 10 here. But you can win a tournament with a guy who finishes, 25th to 29th, and certainly all your cash games. So there's another guy to look at for some value.
Interesting. All right, give us these stat crossover guys, because I know we have a few that fall into line in a few spots that make them very playable, and they fit financially too.
Yeah, they really do. So looking at that par 4 scoring from 400 to 450 yards, guys who are in the top 25 of that this year, I'll just read them off real quick here. We've got Matt Wallace, Charles Howell III, Russell Henley, Zach Johnson, there you go, who's actually a local guy here. I think that's part of the change in the odds there. Kevin Kisner, Doc Redman, Ches Reavie, Brant Snedeker, Matthew Naismith, Joaquin Niemann, and Austin Cook. And Austin Cook, by the way, won this event in 2017. And, he checks off a lot of boxes this week. His price, he's only $7,500. And in his recent form, a couple of those tournaments you just mentioned, he was tied for second at the Shriners and tied for 24th in Houston. So
and he won this damn thing. I mean, when you win, you're a champ at a course. That's carries a lot of weight. I don't care.
That's important stuff.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's a great call, man. That very great call. And he's, like you said, he's pretty inexpensive. He's only got one top 10 this past season, but he's making cuts. And as we know, that's half the battle in this game. Get all your guys through that cut.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez. And then the guys who were at the top of that list last year, Kisner, Webb Simpson, of course, Cameron Tringali, Tommy Fleetwood, Henley again, Shane Lowry, Corey Connors, and Doc Redman. So those are guys who probably sound more like what you would expect. And they're all playing this week, so they all get a boost from my perspective. And then if we take it to the next level and we look at just proximity to the hole overall, it's interesting names here. This year, the guy who's ranked highest on that list, who's in this tournament, is actually Jason Duffner, and he's only 6,400.
Wow.
And the thing about Duffner, he's really a GPP guy because he's hit or miss. Just looking at his course history here, he has it tied for 9th, but then he also has 2 missed cuts here recently. So if he's on,
he's been irrelevant for so long now.
I know.
It's weird.
Yep.
Yeah.
So he's been hitting it close this year at least. So there's a nice value potential. Ches Reavie again, Tyrrell Hatton, Griot, Cook again. There's our guy. Yeah. Russell Knox, Cameron Percy, Henley again, and then Sam Burns. These are guys who are all in the kind of top 30 or so.
Right.
And then last thing I'll do for stats here is that same stat last year. So kind of, looking at the last year or so, proximity to the hole. Griot again, Doug Gim, who's a value play this week, Doc Redman, Jason Duffner. So that's just one of those things he does year in and year out. Lowry, Webb Simpson, Ches Reavie again, Henley again, Joel Damon, Neiman, Knox, and Hatton. So, if you look at those stats across the board, there's 2 names that just keep popping up time and time again. Russell Henley, who's on the expensive side this week, and then Ches Reavie.
Yeah,
Ches Reavie is just it's a perfect course for him because he's not a big hitter. He's so consistent hitting those greens, hitting it close, and so if his putter can just get hot, he's only 7,500, so he's a great value.
7,500 is too cheap for him. I think he's the most sensible play on the board at that number. I mean, he's 21 out of 28 cuts with 3 top 10s, and this guy, if you've watched him play, and we've seen him quite a bit this year, he's a grinder. He doesn't back down or choke or have bad Sundays. Right. I think he's well underpriced. I think he should be like 82, something like that. So you gotta consider him for sure.
Yeah, I mean you're like you said, he doesn't back down. He'll battle on Sunday. He can finish top 5. He can win. He's a veteran. So I like his profile this week at that price.
I'm with you. I love those points. Now I had built some lineups prior to jumping on here, and here's my concern. This is what I want you to talk me through here, because I built what I think is a really sound 6-man lineup that I'll share in our Discord here tonight so people can scout it out ahead of time, our members. But I don't have the big dogs, as you would say. And so my question to you is, can I win some of these cash games specifically, not having, and I'm going to read you the guys I do not have, and you tell me if you think some of these guys you just can't pass on. And I'll let you know how many top 10s they have, because this is the part that scares me. Webb Simpson has 11, for gosh sakes. M has 8. Fleetwood has 4. Hatton has 9. Fitzpatrick has 7. Harris English has 8. And Jason Day has 6. Those are the guys that I don't have, that I'm afraid of, leaving them all out. Is that doable? Or do you think this should be one of those, play some of the, guys at the top and then have a balanced lineup?
No, I like that approach, especially for cash games, because you know me, I like to find guys in the 6K range on DraftKings who I think are going to make the cut, strong value plays. And this week, I just don't see it as much. I like a lot more of the guys in the 7 to 8K range. And so I'd rather pack my lineup with those guys and sacrifice at the top, and maybe only get one guy over 10K. And I think I'm going to feel really good about that build. And out of the list that you mentioned, the only guy that I'm really scared about leaving out is Webb Simpson, because he finished second here last year.
He's so damn good.
He's so good on these shorter courses with lots of par fours. Solid week of the Masters. So that's the guy who, I expect a top 10 from him for sure. So it's just a matter of where he finishes. But the other guys, yeah.
Is there a guy on tour that when you're watching them on TV and they hit their drive, it's like you don't even, he's picking up his tee. I don't think I've ever seen him spray one in anywhere. He is the most consistent, solid guy, and I agree with you 1,000,000%. He's the guy that I don't want to leave out. But, you add him in for, one of the guys in a medium build, which we have the exact same strategy this week, which is very unusual because usually we're building differently. But, it forces you then to put that last guy in that you sort of have to, sweat through making the cut, as we called them before, the undesirables. But so that's the big question. And I'm going to give you on the show today here, and I know we agree on it, so I think we'll just throw this out there to our listeners. My favorite pay-up guy at 10-1 is Russell Henley. I love the way he's playing. I love his game for this course history. I just think he's a perfect fit. And I think people are going to see him over 10 grand, and they're not going to play him because seems to be a little higher price than you would think. So I love the fact that I think we'll get him, Andrew, at pretty low ownership, and I think he's a guy that can win it.
I do too, and not on top of all those stats that I read off, his recent form, he's been playing great. You were on him out in Vegas when he had that great finish. And then on this course, he has a tie for 6th and a tie for 10th.
Right.
So yeah, great course history. I agree, all across the board there. Let's get some lower ownership on him than he deserves, and that's a good pay-up guy. And then just to finish the thought on your list of expensive guys that you're fading, the other guys, I think there's a good justification for fading each and every one of them. The main thing is they haven't played this tournament much, and if they've played it once or twice, they haven't had a high finish. Webb's the only guy that has a high finish out of that whole list of guys you mentioned. So I'm fine with fading those guys, and let's get some more of these mid-tier guys.
I'm with you. And if you want to flat bet a few of these guys, like you said, that the odds, you're getting some steal odds. Right now, Henley, I get 26 to 1 on him, and I think that's a that's a fine little bet, if he's in the running on Sunday. So, if you want to jump aboard at betus.com.pa and you have not done that yet, this is the time to do it. 125% match by using the promo code Coach Talk. And let's hear real quickly from our golden voice here at BetUS.
Wake up, sports bettors. Sports are in high gear at BetUS.com, so put down the beer and make every sporting event more exciting by putting stakes on the line at BetUS. Earn bragging rights over your friends as you rake in the cash from each week's betting action. But don't settle for any other book. Choose America's favorite sports book with over 25 trusted years in the industry, BetUS. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity, but more importantly, you need a sports book that pays. BetUS has your game with action on football, baseball, basketball, MMA, golf, horse racing, and even esports. No other sportsbook welcomes newcomers like BetUS with their jaw-dropping sign-up bonuses. Sign up now with promo code CoachTalk for 125% sign-up bonus up to $2,000. The best in the biz. Now you have the best book in the business with the best DFS provider in the business, Coach Talk. Create your account to make point spread bets, futures bets, prop bets, entertainment bets, live bets, and more. No other sportsbook is as committed to their members as BetUS. Sign up now and get in on the winning side of the ball.
All right. And I'll tell you, these are the kind of tournaments, these 35, 40, 60 to 1 shots win these tournaments. And all you have to do is nail one of those, or even the matchups. The matchups that BetUS offers sometimes are really nice too. Can get some solid odds, especially, some of the guys we've mentioned here are matched up against what I would call some of the undesirables. I'm not going to name names because then they'll finish like first, second, and third in the tournament. And, but, so you can take advantage of those as well. So I love it. This is odd that we have the same strategy and sort of like the same guys. When does that ever happen?
I know, this is great. I think what I'll do to wrap it up from my perspective is I'm going to throw in 2 value guys just in case you want to go with Webb Simpson and not go with that middle build that we're talking about.
Did we get past the Hanson hookers? What is it that now the
Hanson Hail Marys is currently still
Hanson Hail Marys? Okay.
Yeah. So this week, actually they both start with H, so appropriate.
There you go.
David Hearn, who didn't play well in Houston, but played well the week before in Bermuda. And, I think part of that can be attributed to the fact that he was a late add to Houston, so he wasn't planning to go there. So he rushes over there, misses the cut. Well, look what he's done on this course here. 4 top 30s, 2 top 15s, and a top 10. And he's only 6,600. So I like that price. And then our man, John Huh, who last 2 events, a tie for 19th and tie for 48th. He's only 6,600. And on this course, he has a tie for 9th, a 27th, and a 37th. So, you get a guy like that, you just want him to make the cut, decent chance at a top 25. And if you're pairing him up with somebody like Webb Simpson and Webb wins, and then you get those 4 middle tier guys from the group that we've talked about, then you're in good shape.
Absolutely. Love it. And your value plays are batting, a high percentage this year. You've done an awesome job putting some of those guys out there. I talked you off of Charles Howell the third, and he made the cut. So I apologize for that. That's okay. Teaches me never to tell you not to play your value plays. Kiss of death, like Godfather.
Yeah. Bernhard Longer, he was the key last week.
Oh my gosh.
Value plays.
I mean, watching Longer play nose to nose like that against DeChambeau was one of the most, it's golf in a nutshell. I mean, you've got this big bruising guy that's going to break the Masters, as they were saying, and against a 62 or 63-year-old guy that I remember watching as a kid. So, I mean, you know what it's
like? You know what it's like, Coach? It's if LeBron and Jerry West played one-on-one today. What would the odds be that Jerry West would win? I mean, 0. But Longer went out and beat him.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the announcers gave it to him too. They pointed it out and gave him a little shade there. But I'm sure that Mr. DeChambeau will come back and get it going. I almost feel bad for him. But anyway, we faded him across the board. We took a lot of shade for that, going into the Masters. That was part of that whole great feeling starting off is, we both stood strong and everybody was pounded on us because DeChambeau was the chalk. And, he was a good fade, that's for sure. But love it. Anything else as far as golf tournament wise? You've got your value plays. We like our medium build. We both are high on Henley. I mean, I think we can make some money this week for sure.
Yeah, I mean, jump in with us as a member if you want the final lineup. On FanDuel, we'll give out the cash lineup and a GPP lineup on Wednesday night. And then we also give out the coach's clipboard on DraftKings with core plays and pivots. So you get that at dfscoachtalk.com. That's where you sign up to be a member, get that weekly, monthly, or winter special membership. And we'll get you into Discord and give you the lineups there.
And I'll tell you, stay tuned this week because we're going to be rolling out an NBA All Access membership.
Yes.
Which is, we crush it in golf, in basketball, and in baseball. We do golf, football, and baseball. But, basketball is our background, a lot of us, and, that's our bread and butter. So we're teeing up a really awesome NBA All Access Pass. And again, when you become a member of Coach Talk, you don't just get that sport. When you get all of what we're putting out there, all of our lineups in, DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo on all those four major sports. So, keep your eyes open for that. We're going to be rolling that out and have a giveaway attached to it as well. So, definitely keep an eye as the week goes on. And, we'll be in Discord and on Twitter throughout the week, updating weather, everything else that's going on. The early forecast looks great, but we'll definitely update. We still have 2 days till the tournament gets going, but that always, comes into play in golf for sure. So we'd love to have you. We hope you enjoyed this podcast today. Our charity of choice here at DFS Coach Talk is mambaon3.org. That's MAMBAONTHREE.org. Fantastic charity set up by the Bryan family. And once again, jump on betus.com.pa, use that promo code Coach Talk, no space, and get that 125% match. We will be busy all this week. We check out our NBA draft preview that is now posted. We'll have a wrap-up of that NBA preview at the end of the week. And then Andrew and Shane will, of course, be attacking the NFL with Thursday Night Football and then all the awesome action on Sunday. So come in. It's going to be fun. We're expecting, as all these sports start playing at the same time, to just get super busy and super intense, and we want to just take some stuff down. We have a lot of success stories from the members. We're going to be throwing some of those up on our website too. And again, that's dfscoachtalk.com. All right. Any final words there, partner?
Yeah, thanks a lot for joining us, everybody, and good luck down in Sea Island, Georgia here.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll join you again next week for PGA as we look to crush it in DFS.